Hello everyone. Today we're going to be discussing two parts of speech, and those two parts of speech are interjections and conjunctions. But we're first going to begin with interjections. Now, what you'll realize about an interjection is that it's easy to identify, right? Why is that? Well, an interjection is a part of speech used to convey or express certain feelings and emotions. It can be a word or a phrase, and therein lies the answer. Why are they so easy to identify? Because they are used to express certain emotions or feelings, okay? So those emotions, those emotions can be anger, excitement, surprise, confusion, etc., okay? Now, when it comes to placement, they can be placed at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of a sentence. So what is going to make the difference is going to be punctuation, which we'll get into shortly, okay? But let's look at some examples first. Ouch, that was painful, right? So ouch, that's a word we would use when we want to express that we experience some form of pain. Oh my God, this one can have multiple uses. Argentina won the World Cup. Oh my God, we can use that to express shock. We could use that to express surprise. We could use that to express excitement. So that one can have multiple uses, okay? 3, whoa, that was close, right? Whoa, that was close. Whoa could be surprise, or whoa could be, let's say, yeah, disbelief as well. Whoa, you know? So so those are 3 examples of interjections. Now, these are mainly used in informal context. You wouldn't use these in formal context. We would more use these in everyday speech, right? But of course, the interjections have their use, right? These can be used to spicing up, like short stories, where you include them as dialogue between characters, things like that. But generally, you should avoid using interjections in formal writing, right? Now, let's deal with the punctuation. You may think that an interjection must always be followed by an exclamation mark. Not really. Remember I said that they can be placed at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end. So obviously these are examples of interjections being placed at the beginning. And you would also notice that the letter following the interjection begins with a capital letter. That's right, because the interjection itself serves as a sentence, right? So this would be considered one sentence, and that would be considered another, right? Now, when it comes to the punctuation, if we are going to place an interjection at the start, right, and we want that to stand alone as a sentence, then we are going to use an exclamation mark, as we have done here. You would have to use a full stop, right? You can use a full stop, or you can use a question mark, right? But if you use a comma, then that would not be a sentence on its own. That would still form part of the sentence that follows. For example, if I say ouch and I put a comma, then that reduces the intensity of the emotion, because the exclamation mark is used for emphasis, right? So if I use a comma here, I can put the exclamation at the end. And instead of focusing on that one, it focuses on the entire sentence will be highlighted as an exclamation. But when I put the exclamation mark on ouch, then that means that particular sound was stressed. So ouch. Okay? But if I put a comma there, it will be like, ouch, that was painful. So the entire sentence will be an exclamation, right? I could put a full stop there. Now a full stop means that it's not as intense, obviously, but it's still an exclamation, right? It's still, still an interjection, all right? Now let's see an example of an interjection occurring in the middle of a sentence. So if it occurs in the middle of a sentence, then it must have commas. So a comma before it and a comma after it. So for example, this soup, is terrible, right? So that expression, like UGH, that is used as, that's used to express my, my disgust with the soup. So this soup, is just terrible, right? So, or this soup, you could say, I said, this soup, is just terrible, or this soup, is terrible. Same thing, really. But the that is used to express my disgust. All right? Now, at the end of a sentence, let me give you an example. So, if you use it at the end, then you would have to, you could put a comma, not a comma, a full stop, or exclamation mark, or question mark, depending on what you want to express. So, for example, it's still raining, huh? So the H-U-H, it's still raining, huh? And I use that as a question. But that is expressing confusion. Like, it's raining, huh? Right. It's kind of like expressing confusion, right? But let me give you an example too with an interjection being followed by a question mark. What? The event was cancelled, right? So if I could use an exclamation after that to express like frustration, what? The event was cancelled? Or I could use a question mark and be like, what? The event was cancelled? As if, and the what followed by the question mark would more be used to indicate like confusion. Whereas what with the exclamation means that I'm expressing my frustration, okay? So yes, these are interjections. It just refers to words or phrases that are used to convey emotion. And remember that these are really and truly restricted to informal context, right? And they are flexible. They can appear at the beginning of a sentence, in the middle, or at the end. And you can change the intensity of them based on the placement as well as the punctuation. Okay? So these are interjections. Now we're going to proceed to conjunctions. So we move on to conjunctions. And there are 3 types of conjunctions that we'll look at today. However, we first need to understand what conjunctions do. So a conjunction joins words, phrases, clauses, or sentences and indicates the relationship between the elements joined. So that's the function of a conjunction. It joins words, phrases, clauses, or sentences, right? So that's what a conjunction does. And it indicates the relationship between the elements joined. And this is where we get into the different types of conjunctions, okay? But before we get into that, if you do not know what a clause is, a clause can be dependent or it can be independent. But a clause is a group of words that has a subject and a verb, but it could either express a complete thought and can be thought of as a sentence. That would be an independent clause. Or it can contain a subject and a verb, but not express a complete thought and would require more information, which would be a dependent clause, right? So that's just some information for those who may not know what a clause is, okay? Now, yes. So between the elements, now that would indicate that it's usually two, yes, because it's usually going to be two words, two phrases, two sentences, etc., right? So that's why it's between. Now, the three types of conjunctions are coordinating, subordinating, and correlative, right? Let's first start with coordinating conjunctions. So, coordinating conjunctions refer to words that are used to join or link two or more words, phrases, clauses, or sentences of equal importance. It says two or more, but usually two of equal importance. So examples would include for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. And you will realize that these words form the acronym fanboys. So that's something that would be useful if you want to remember what the coordinating conjunctions are. Back to the definition. So coordinating conjunctions refer to words that are used to join or link two or more words, phrases, clauses, or sentences of equal importance. So of equal importance is very important because it suggests that whatever follows that conjunction is just as important as what was mentioned prior to it. Okay, so let me give you an example. And I teach English and Spanish. Now, I teach English, but we want to add something of equal value. And what would be that something? Another subject, Spanish. So Spanish is just as important as English. So you see the and there is used to join the two subjects. So they're both important because they are subjects that I teach. So I teach English and Spanish. Another example, but Mark does not like to cook, but he likes to eat. So the but, what follows the but, he likes to eat, is going to be just as important as Mark does not like to cook. Right? So they're both important. Both of these sentences are giving information about Mark. Right? So that's another example. Mark does not like to cook, but he likes to eat. Right? But the but would suggest something contradictory, but that contradiction is still as important as what was mentioned prior, right? So those are two examples. Subordinating conjunctions combine a dependent clause and an independent clause. They help with the creation or formation of complex sentences. So now we go on to the clauses. We would have addressed this earlier, right? So you would already know what a dependent and an independent clause, you would know what those are. So what subordinating conjunctions do is that they connect a dependent clause to an independent clause. Because remember, a dependent clause cannot function on its own. It requires additional information, which would be the independent clause, for it to make sense. Right? So examples, because of those saints, etc. Because of course there are more. So let's use saints. Since it was raining, we decided to stay indoors. So you would see that since it was raining, that is a dependent clause because that requires more information. You can't say since it was raining. Okay? You need more information. So since it was raining, we decided to stay indoors. So the since is connecting the two sentences. It was raining, we decided to stay indoors. That's what the since is doing. It's connecting the dependent clause to an independent clause. And the dependent would be since it was raining, and the independent would be we decided to stay indoors. right? And you would notice that the subordinating conjunction would be found within the dependent clause, right? Because after all, the conjunction, the subordinating conjunction is used to join them, right? Okay, because she won a gold medal because she trained every day. So if you take because she trained every day, you'll be like, you need more information, you need more context. She won a gold medal would be the independent clause that can stand on its own, that does not require any more information. But because she trained every day, we need more information. So that would be the dependent clause. So because will join she won a gold medal and she trained every day. It would join those two ideas, right? So those are subordinating conjunctions. They link a dependent clause to an independent clause. In other words, they combine a dependent and an independent clause. Okay? And the last one that we'll look at today is called a correlative conjunction. Correlative conjunction. Correlative conjunction. My bad. Correlative conjunction. These refer to pairs of words that work together to connect two parts of a sentence that hold an equal value. So it sounds similar to coordinating, but the difference is that these come in pairs. So they're two words, okay? Either or, neither nor, not only, but also, right? So once again, these two entities, right, or the two parts of the sentence will both be important. Let me give you an example. Neither the boys nor the girl likes cricket. But what's also important is that you pay attention to subject and verb agreement, especially with these constructions. Usually in these constructions, the verb will agree with the subject that is closer to it. So in the sentence, neither the boys nor the girl likes football, the verb is going to be closer, the girl is going to be closer to the verb. Hence, the verb is going to be singular. You don't say, neither the boys nor the girl like football. No, you say, neither the boys nor the girl likes football. Right? So that's a rule when it comes to subject and verb agreement. So what the neither nor is doing in that case is that it is connecting the two parts of the sentence, the two entities, the boys and the girl. And it is showing you that they're both important to the sentence because the sentence is focused on both of them. And these conjunctions are used to connect them, right? So neither the boys nor the girl likes cricket, right? So it's talking about them both, all right? So yes, these are the three types of conjunctions: coordinating, subordinating, and correlative, all right? So this brings us to the end of this lesson. I sincerely hope that you understood both interjections and conjunctions. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.